Hello, listeners of the latest episode. Welcome to the new chapter of our story.
Day 790, 2 years and 2 months since the demonstration at Fort Carson, 730 days since Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb, Jr. were taken prisoner in medical detention, conscious enough to know they'd been abandoned, transformed enough that rescue seemed impossible. But the resistance hadn't forgotten, hadn't stopped preparing, hadn't accepted that 2 people who'd sacrificed everything would remain unsaved forever. The Free Settlements Alliance had grown beyond anything John had imagined during those early desperate months. 68 communities now, scattered across Colorado and into Wyoming, New Mexico, Kansas, each one protected by Morrison's inoculation, each one contributing resources, fighters, intelligence to the collective defense against Webb's controlled zones. 32,000 people living free. 32,000 people who owed their freedom to an inoculation synthesized from antibodies Jennifer and Marcus had developed during their first reversal. 32,000 people who existed because 2 prisoners had let Sarah extract blood samples while Webb's conditioning screamed at them to resist. And now, finally, the Alliance had the strength to bring them home. Commander Elena Torres stood at the head of the military council, reviewing tactical maps of Fort Carson. She was 43, former Army captain, had led her settlement's defense against 3 separate Webb assaults before joining the Alliance. Competent, direct, believed in impossible missions because she'd accomplished several. Fort Carson has been reinforced, Elena said, highlighting the facility on the map. Intelligence shows Webb increased garrison from 147 personnel to 230 after Martinez's broadcast 2 months ago, promising rescue. He knows we're coming. He's been preparing. John studied the updated intelligence, 8 months of surveillance, reconnaissance teams observing Fort Carson from a distance, tracking guard rotations, supply deliveries, personnel transfers, everything they'd need to plan an assault on Webb's primary facility. Then we hit him with more force than he expects, Michael said. He'd healed from the shoulder wound Sarah had taken during the first infiltration, but he hadn't healed from the guilt of leaving Jennifer and Marcus behind. 2 years of carrying that weight, 2 years of knowing they were prisoners while he was free. 120 fighters, Elena confirmed. Largest coordinated force the Alliance has ever assembled. 3 teams with distinct objectives. We hit Fort Carson simultaneously from multiple vectors. Overwhelm their defenses before Webb can organize effective resistance. Chen pulled up the assault plan they'd been developing. Team Alpha, 40 fighters, infiltrates medical detention. Primary objective, extract Jennifer, Marcus, and any other transformed prisoners we can save. Team Bravo, 50 fighters, creates diversion at main gate, draws Webb's forces away from detention wing. Team Charlie, 30 fighters, secures extraction routes, ensures we can get prisoners out once Alpha retrieves them. Casualties, someone asked. Expected 15 to 20%, Elena said bluntly. We're assaulting a reinforced facility with 230 defenders. People will die. But Fort Carson is where Webb keeps transformed prisoners undergoing reconditioning, where he's held Jennifer and Marcus for 730 days. This is our best chance, maybe our only chance, to get them out. The room fell silent, everyone processing the mathematics. 120 fighters, 20% casualties meant 24 people, 24 lives to save 2. The brutal calculation that never got easier. It's worth it, Sarah said quietly. She'd been one of those prisoners once, transformed as Hunter 4, rescued when transformation was still reversible. She understood what Jennifer and Marcus were experiencing, understood that every day in Webb's reconditioning was torture for someone with 70 to 80% cognitive retention. "They've saved 32,000 people," Sarah continued. "Their antibodies, their blood. Morrison's inoculation wouldn't exist without them. If we lose 24 fighters to save 2 people who made 32,000 survivors possible, that's not a sacrifice. That's justice." The intelligence came from multiple sources. Emma Rivera was one of 22 transformed prisoners the Resistance had rescued over 2 years. Smaller operations, single extractions when opportunities presented, each rescue providing intelligence on Webb's operations, each rescued prisoner adding testimony about conditions inside Fort Carson's medical detention. Emma had been transformed 6 months ago, captured during a Webb raid on her settlement, subjected to modified infection, emerged with 75% cognitive retention, conscious enough to remember being human, transformed enough that Webb's conditioning partially worked. She'd spent 3 months in Fort Carson's detention before a resistance extraction team pulled her out. Morrison's reversal protocols had saved her, brought her back to full humanity, made her one of the few people who'd been transformed, imprisoned, and successfully restored. "Cell layout hasn't changed," Emma said during the intelligence briefing, drawing from memory. 62 cells on level 3, medical detention. Each cell holds 1 transformed prisoner, monitoring equipment, reconditioning apparatus. Webb's trying to reduce cognitive retention from 70–80% down to his target of 40%. She pulled up specific details. Jennifer Park is in cell 8, Marcus Webb Jr. in cell 12. I saw them during my 3 months. They're conscious, aware. Webb's been trying to break them for 2 years. Hasn't succeeded. "How do you know?" John asked. "Because Jennifer helped me," Emma said. Webb's reconditioning involves sensory deprivation, psychological conditioning, neural manipulation. Prisoners with high retention can resist if they maintain their humanity. Jennifer taught me how, reminded me who I was, kept me from breaking completely. Emma's voice cracked slightly. Marcus did the same for other prisoners. They never stopped fighting, never stopped being human. Webb's put them through 2 years of torture trying to reduce their consciousness. Failed completely. They're still 80% retained. Still aware, still suffering. "Can they be saved?" Morrison asked. "Reversal protocols worked for you because you were transformed only once. Detained for 3 months. Jennifer and Marcus have been transformed twice. Detained for 2 years. That's unprecedented trauma to neural pathways." "I don't know," Emma admitted, "but I know they deserve the chance. They saved me. They've saved 32,000 people. Someone needs to save them." Catherine Chen provided the scientific intelligence. She'd been Webb's head researcher, worked on modified infection development, transformation protocols, reconditioning techniques, had access to Webb's entire scientific apparatus. And 8 months ago, she'd defected. "Webb's reconditioning attempts are failing across the board," Catherine explained during the medical briefing. "Prisoners with 70% or higher cognitive retention resist conditioning. Their consciousness is too strong. Webb can torture them, can isolate them, can subject them to every neural manipulation technique we developed, but he can't reduce their retention below 70% without killing them." She pulled up data from Webb's own research. Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb Jr. are his greatest failures. 2 years of intensive reconditioning, 0 reduction in cognitive retention. They remain at 80%, fully conscious, fully aware, fully human despite transformation. "Why not just kill them?" Michael asked. "If they can't be conditioned, Why keep them alive? Because Webb's entire Phase 2 plan depends on proving reconditioning works, Catherine said. If he can't reduce high-retention prisoners, he can't scale Phase 2 to populations that resist infection. Jennifer and Marcus are proof his system has limits. He keeps trying because admitting failure means admitting his vision is impossible. Morrison studied the data. Can you help me develop reversal protocols for extended transformation? Your knowledge of Webb's techniques plus my antibody research. Together we might be able to reverse even second transformations. That's why I defected, Catherine said. I spent 2 years helping Webb torture conscious prisoners. I want to spend the rest of my life fixing what I helped create. The planning took 8 months. Not because the assault was complicated. Fort Carson's layout was known, guard rotations documented, defenses mapped. The tactical plan could have been developed in weeks. But gathering 120 fighters took time. Coordinating 68 settlements to contribute personnel required diplomacy. Training disparate groups to work as cohesive assault teams required patience. Building the capability to execute the largest military operation in the Alliance's history required months of preparation. Elena Torres led the training, turned farmers and craftspeople and survivors into fighters, taught them tactics, coordination, how to assault a fortified facility against superior numbers, how to survive when the mission was desperate and casualties were expected. Michael focused on Team Alpha, the infiltration team, 40 fighters who would breach medical detention, locate 62 prisoners, extract Jennifer and Marcus specifically, and evacuate before Webb's forces could respond. The hardest mission, the highest risk. Sarah led medical preparations. Morrison had developed updated reversal protocols with Catherine's help. Enough treatment capacity for 10 prisoners simultaneously. They couldn't save all 62 if Alpha extracted everyone, but they could save Jennifer and Marcus if extraction succeeded. Chen coordinated logistics, weapons, equipment, medical supplies, everything 120 fighters needed to assault Fort Carson and survive the operation, everything the Alliance could spare without leaving settlements undefended, and John broadcast every night, reminding Jennifer and Marcus, if they could still hear, if Webb still let prisoners access broadcasts, that rescue was coming, that 730 days of imprisonment would end, that the Alliance hadn't forgotten them. This is the last broadcast. Day 730 since the demonstration. Day 730 since Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb Jr. became prisoners. We're coming, soon. Your sacrifice saved 32,000 people. Now 32,000 people are saving you. Stay alive, stay conscious, stay human. We're coming. The vote happened on day 788, 2 days before the planned assault. The Military Council presented the complete operational plan. 3 assault teams, coordinated strike, expected casualties, objective, rescue Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb Jr. from Fort Carson medical detention, plus any other prisoners extraction allows. 92 votes in favor, 28 opposed, more than the 3/4 majority required for major military operations. We're authorized, Elena said. Assault launches midnight, day 790. All teams final preparations. Martinez, you'll coordinate from command. This is the operation you've been broadcasting about for 2 years. Time to make it happen. John wanted to be on Team Alpha, wanted to be the one who reached Jennifer and Marcus, wanted to personally bring them home after 730 days. But he was the Alliance leader, the voice of the last broadcast, the symbol of resistance. If he died during the assault, the alliance fractured, so he'd coordinate from command while others took the risks. Sarah's leading Alpha medical team, Elena said. She'll be first into detention after cells are secured. She'll identify Jennifer and Marcus, administer emergency reversal protocols if needed, get them stable for transport. Sarah nodded. She'd been Hunter 4 once, been transformed and rescued, knew what prisoners were experiencing, understood the terror of consciousness trapped in a body that wouldn't fully obey. If anyone could reach Jennifer and Marcus, could remind them they were being saved, it was Sarah. "I'll bring them home," Sarah promised. "Whatever it takes, they're coming home." The night before the assault, John broadcast one final time before going silent for operational security. "This is the last broadcast. Tomorrow night I won't be broadcasting. The alliance will be dark. Because tomorrow night, we're going to Fort Carson. We're bringing Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb, Jr. home. 730 days is long enough. Whatever it costs, however many lives, they're coming home." To every settlement listening, if you don't hear from us for 48 hours, assume the operation failed. Continue the alliance, continue distribution, continue resistance. But we don't expect to fail. We expect to succeed. We expect to finally bring 2 people home who saved all of us. To Jennifer and Marcus, if you're listening, hold on. 1 more day, 30 more hours, then it's over. Then you're free. Stay alive. Stay conscious. We're coming for you. The transmission ended. The broadcast went silent. And across 68 settlements, 32,000 people waited to see if the largest operation in the Alliance's history would bring 2 prisoners home or become the largest disaster since the demonstration. The assault launched at midnight on day 790, 120 fighters converging on Fort Carson from multiple directions. Team Bravo hitting the main gate with overwhelming force, 50 fighters engaging Webb's 230 defenders, drawing attention, creating chaos. Team Charlie securing the perimeter, 30 fighters establishing extraction routes, ensuring that once prisoners were rescued, they could get out before Webb's forces regrouped. And Team Alpha, 40 fighters, led by Michael, breaching the detention wing access tunnel, the same maintenance tunnel John and Sarah had used 2 years ago. The route Webb probably knew about, but the fastest way to reach Level 3, where 62 prisoners waited. John coordinated from mobile command, monitoring 3 radio frequencies simultaneously, watching the operation unfold through transmitted updates. Bravo engaging main gate, heavy resistance, proceeding as planned. Charlie route secured, standing by for extraction. Alpha breaching tunnel access, no contact yet, proceeding to Level 3. The assault was working. Bravo's diversion had drawn Webb's forces exactly as planned. Alpha was moving through the facility unopposed, everything proceeding according to 8 months of planning. Alpha reaching Level 3. Michael transmitted. Detention wing accessed. Breaching cells now. This was it. The moment 2 years in development. The rescue that had kept John broadcasting every night. The operation that would bring Jennifer and Marcus home, or prove they were beyond saving. Alpha inside detention wing. Michael's voice came through, scanning for prisoners, checking cells. A pause. Too long. Something wrong. Alpha team leader to command. Michael transmitted, his voice carrying a tone John had learned to dread. Medical detention is empty. All 62 cells. No prisoners. No equipment. Recent evacuation. They're not here. John felt the world drop away. Repeat last transmission. Detention wing is empty, Michael confirmed. Cells were occupied recently. Equipment still warm, monitoring systems active, but evacuated within the last 2 hours. Webb moved them. Jennifer and Marcus aren't here. None of the 62 prisoners are here. Fort Carson was evacuated before we arrived. The broadcast came 60 seconds later. Not on resistance frequencies, on every frequency. Webb's voice, calm, satisfied, victorious. Captain Martinez, Commander Torres, Team Alpha. Did you think 2 years of nightly broadcasts promising rescue wouldn't reach me? That 8 months of preparation would go unnoticed? That I wouldn't monitor your communications, track your planning, understand exactly when you'd strike? Your people aren't at Fort Carson. They haven't been for 3 months. I relocated all 62 transformed prisoners to a more secure facility. A facility you can't easily assault. A facility where Colonel Mitchell personally oversees their reconditioning. Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb Jr. are at Cheyenne Mountain, with 60 other prisoners, with Mitchell, with defenses your 120 fighters can't breach, with security protocols that make Fort Carson look like an unguarded settlement. You wanted to rescue them. Here's your chance. Come to Cheyenne Mountain. Mitchell has been waiting 2 years to meet you, Martinez. Your broadcasts kept him entertained. Your resistance inspired him. Your determination to save 2 transformed prisoners impressed him so much he wants to meet you personally. Bring your 120 fighters. Bring your alliance. Bring everything you've built over 2 years. Come to Cheyenne Mountain. Come get your people. Mitchell's waiting. The transmission ended. John sat in the command vehicle, processing what had just happened. 8 months of planning. 120 fighters committed. The largest operation in Alliance history. And Webb had known everything. Had moved the prisoners months ago. Had let them plan the assault, knowing it would fail. Fort Carson was a trap. Not to capture the assault team, but to demonstrate that Webb was always 3 steps ahead. That rescue attempts were futile, that Jennifer and Marcus would remain prisoners as long as Webb chose. All teams withdraw. Elena ordered over command frequency. Operation aborted. Return to rally points. Webb knows we're here. No reason to sustain casualties for an empty facility. The 120 fighters began extraction. Team Bravo broke contact with Webb's forces. Team Charlie held routes, while Alpha evacuated the empty detention wing. The assault ended without achieving anything except confirming that Webb had outmaneuvered them completely. And somewhere in Cheyenne Mountain, the nuclear bunker fortress Colonel Mitchell operated from, the facility the resistance had never successfully penetrated, Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb Jr. waited. 730 days imprisoned, conscious enough to know rescue had failed again, aware enough to understand they'd been bait in Webb's trap. The debriefing happened back at base, 6 hours after the aborted assault. 120 fighters gathered. Elena presenting the tactical analysis. 0 casualties. Complete mission failure. Webb moved the prisoners 3 months ago. Elena said, meaning he's known about our rescue plan since day 700. Let us continue preparation. Let us commit 120 fighters. Let us assault Fort Carson, all to demonstrate he's smarter than us. Cheyenne Mountain? Michael asked. Nuclear bunker, Elena said. Cold War installation, built to withstand direct strikes. Multiple defensive layers. Unknown garrison strength, but estimate minimum 300 personnel. Mitchell's headquarters. Most secure facility Webb controls. Can we assault it? Someone asked. With 120 fighters. Elena shook her head. No, we'd need 5 times that. And even then, success would be doubtful. Cheyenne Mountain is designed to be impregnable. There's a reason Mitchell operates from there. So Jennifer and Marcus stay prisoners. Sarah said quietly. Because we can't reach them. Because Webb moved them somewhere we can't assault. Because Mitchell's fortress is too strong. The room fell silent, everyone understanding the implication. Two people who'd saved 32,000, who'd been promised rescue for 730 days, who'd let Sarah extract blood samples while Webb's conditioning screamed at them to resist. Those two people would remain prisoners because the Alliance didn't have the strength to reach them. "We need more intel," Chen said. "Cheyenne Mountain's layout, garrison strength, Mitchell's security protocols. Can't plan an assault without understanding what we're attacking." "Intel takes time," Elena said. "Months, maybe years. And while we're gathering intelligence, Webb keeps Jennifer and Marcus in reconditioning, keeps torturing them, keeps trying to break consciousness that won't break. Then we get intel faster," John said. His voice was flat, empty, carrying 2 years of guilt about leaving them behind. "Whatever it takes. We're not abandoning them for a third time. Webb thinks Cheyenne Mountain makes them unreachable. We prove him wrong." Emma Rivera requested private meeting with John after the debriefing. "I have information," Emma said, "about Cheyenne Mountain, about Mitchell, about the 62 prisoners." "Tell me," John said. "When I was at Fort Carson before your team rescued me, Webb was preparing for prisoner transfer. I didn't know where. But I heard soldiers talking. Heard that Mitchell wanted high-retention prisoners at Cheyenne Mountain. Wanted to study why reconditioning wasn't working. Wanted Jennifer and Marcus, specifically, because they'd been imprisoned longest and still showed 0 conditioning success." Emma pulled out notes she'd written. Memories from her 3 months in detention. Details she hadn't shared during the general intelligence briefings. Mitchell isn't just Webb's superior. He's the architect of Project Lazarus. Webb runs field operations. Mitchell designs strategy. If Jennifer and Marcus are at Cheyenne Mountain, it's because Mitchell wants them there. Wants to understand why they can't be broken. "Which means he'll keep them alive," John said. "Can't study dead prisoners. Can't solve the reconditioning failure if he kills the test subjects." "Exactly," Emma confirmed. "Mitchell will torture them, will experiment, will try everything possible to reduce their retention, but he won't kill them. They're too valuable, too important to his research." "How long?" John asked. "How long can they survive Mitchell's experimentation?" Emma's expression showed exactly how difficult that question was to answer. "I survived 3 months of Webb's reconditioning. It broke something inside me that Morrison's reversal protocols fixed, but the memory remains. Jennifer and Marcus have survived 730 days. They're stronger than I was, more resistant, but everyone has a breaking point." "Estimate?" John pressed. 6 months, Emma said. "Maybe a year, before Mitchell's experiments damage them beyond reversal, before the trauma becomes irreversible, even if we rescue them. After that..." She didn't finish, didn't need to. 6 months, John repeated. "We have 6 months to get intelligence on Cheyenne Mountain, plan an assault, execute a rescue before Jennifer and Marcus are damaged beyond saving. Or accept that some people can't be rescued," Emma said quietly. "That their sacrifice saved 32,000 but cost them everything. That sometimes the price of survival is leaving people behind." John thought about Rachel, about her choice to extract intelligence instead of clinging to life, about understanding that some missions mattered more than individual survival, about carrying the weight of everyone who'd been sacrificed for the resistance to continue. "I didn't let Rachel die for nothing," John said. "Didn't let the 94 be executed for nothing. Didn't let 20 hostages be murdered for nothing. I'm not letting Jennifer and Marcus be tortured for nothing. 6 months. We get into Cheyenne Mountain in 6 months. Whatever it takes. Emma nodded, understanding that sometimes impossible missions were the only ones worth attempting. That sometimes the people who mattered most were the ones hardest to save. "I'll help," Emma said. "I owe Jennifer. She kept me human when Webb was trying to break me. I'll do whatever it takes to return the favor." That night, John resumed the last broadcast. 731 days since the demonstration, 1 day after the failed Fort Carson assault. "This is the last broadcast. Yesterday we went to Fort Carson to bring Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb Jr. home. They weren't there. Webb moved them 3 months ago. To Cheyenne Mountain. To Colonel Mitchell's fortress. Some of you think this means we failed. That we should accept they're beyond rescue. That 2 people aren't worth risking an assault on the most fortified facility Webb controls. You're wrong. Jennifer and Marcus are worth it. Their antibodies saved 32,000 people. Their sacrifice made the alliance possible. Their consciousness, still intact after 730 days of torture, proves Webb's reconditioning doesn't work. They're not just 2 prisoners. They're the proof that humanity can't be broken. We're going to Cheyenne Mountain, not tomorrow, not next week, but soon. We're gathering intelligence, planning, preparing, and when we're ready, we're bringing them home. To Jennifer and Marcus, if you're listening from Mitchell's fortress, we didn't forget you at Fort Carson. We won't forget you at Cheyenne Mountain. Webb thinks moving you makes you unreachable. He's wrong. Mitchell thinks his fortress makes you untouchable. He's wrong. 731 days imprisoned, but not forever. We're coming, however long it takes, whatever it costs. You're coming home. This is the last broadcast, broadcasting every night, reminding everyone nobody gets left behind. Not Rachel, not the 94, not the 20 hostages, not Jennifer and Marcus. We remember, we honor, and we rescue. The transmission ended, and in Cheyenne Mountain, if they could still hear broadcasts, if Mitchell still let them access communications, Jennifer Park and Marcus Webb Jr. knew rescue had failed once but hadn't been abandoned. The alliance was still coming, just needed more time, 6 months, maybe less, maybe more, but coming, because that was what resistance meant. Not winning easily, but never surrendering, never accepting that some people were beyond saving, never stopping the fight. Day 731, Jennifer and Marcus still prisoners, Cheyenne Mountain still impregnable, Mitchell still waiting, but the alliance was preparing, and eventually, impossibly, 2 prisoners would come home, one way or another.